What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bloodfeather Productions, and today on the channel we are finally going to be talking about one of my favorite series, Star Wars. And I know you're probably asking, well, you've probably heard me talk about a Star Wars video in the past or in the process of making one, and what's the holdup? And I'm going to keep it all the way as my nigga Crip Max and keep it 55th Street.
I'm gonna keep it 55th Street.
Keep it a buck 50. Star Wars discourse has been tumultuous, for the last couple years. I personally feel a bit of burnout with Star Wars, you know what I'm saying? I went to go see Rise of Skywalker in theaters at the time. I just didn't have access to a car, you know what I'm saying? And so I ended up walking there, and it was probably a 15-minute walk. I'm not trying to say that to be, you know what I'm saying, story out of it, but I walked to go see that fuck-ass movie. And when I walked out of that movie and had to walk home, it was snowing, by the way, a perfect storm of irritation, I was able to rant on for the whole walk home of all the mistakes they made, all the things I didn't like. A little known fact about me as a personal host, aside from the channel, I write, I've written before, I do like to write, and my writer brain is often working. And I think a writer's brain is definitely different from a critic brain. I see a lot of these YouTube reviewer channels, they talk about how writing needs to be better, but they're just saying from a review. It's like a critic, and sometimes critics just say something is bad. Critics were saying Black Adam was bad, but I don't think they were specifically saying what was so bad about it. And the things they were saying just were kind of dumb. And that's how I feel when people, talk about how writing should be better, but don't corroborate it with any evidence, or not evidence, but not a real point. You say the show needs to be better, the writing needs to be better. Well, in what way? And I had that for Star Wars. I had all the smoke. Luckily at the time, Mandalorian was still going on. And that had just finished up season 1. And then as time went on, it was been a roller coaster to be a Star Wars fan. From the Bad Batch to Boba Fett to Clone Wars coming back to Kenobi. Now we're in the Andor era. But I can say one thing. Finally, I am happy about fucking Star Wars. Finally, I had an amazing time watching every single episode of Tales of the Jedi. Because if you haven't read the title, if you've been wondering why I'm telling this diatribe story about fucking Rise of Skywalker, that piece of shit movie, it's because when I watched Tales of the Jedi, I felt like a Star Wars fan again. I'm gonna say this. I don't care how much hate it gets me. I don't care how many people. I hope you come to dislike this video because I say fuck Andor. Fuck Andor. To be honest, it is a show that I don't hate, but it is dredging along. People keep talking about how lived in the universe is. Hey, someone give me a quick count of how many fucking aliens you've seen in fucking Andor, and I can count there's at least 10 times in all those short episodes of Tales of the Jedi, which are all less than 20 minutes, a fraction of the runtime of Andor, and they're talking about how lived in, how dramatic it is, but how can the Star Wars universe feel lived in if there's no fucking aliens? I've seen nothing but humans for 7 episodes, and I'm trying to figure out where the fucking disconnect is. You're talking about a lived in universe, it convinces me that you niggas don't actually like Star Wars, don't know what Star Wars is really supposed to be. And I don't want to say I know fucking George Lucas, but to me, I thought we all had a very easy agreement on why we all watch Star Wars, for the space battles and the wizards with laser swords. All of a sudden, niggas want something different, and I guess that's fine. It's fine if you want your medium to change, but I sat there and watched someone call and say what George Lucas made was garbage. And you're sitting here watching every single Star Wars release. If you think Star Wars is garbage, if you think what George Lucas made was garbage, why are you watching it? And that's a whole nother video. Let me know if y'all want a video on that, because I'm frankly sick and tired of being in the climate where I just see a lot of YouTube channels hate reviewing things. I gotta talk about that in the She-Hulk video, but I could go into a more in-depth video. These channels will talk about how much they hate a show, how dog shit a show is, and then tune in every week. I don't hate Andor. I think it's kind of boring, and a lot of the characters aren't memorable, and frankly, it's not going anywhere. And that, to me, that's a perfect segue into the things I liked about Tales of the Jedi. Because it has one foot in, one foot out. My biggest problem with Andor is that at the end of the day, I know Andor's gonna die. I know there's gonna be maybe 2 or 3 people out of the 2 seasons of this show that mean anything for the future of Star Wars, because most of them die, and I already see who's at the end of the rebellion. I already see the way Andor dies, so what's the point? But to put that up against Tales of the Jedi, which was a total expansion into Ahsoka's character, as well as Count Dooku, it was amazing. I have nothing but good things to say. Seeing how Count Dooku has been more like Anakin than we ever really thought was just wild to me. Connecting more singular dots, that is what I want from Star Wars in the current timeline. If you're gonna do current Star Wars things, you need to be connecting extra dots for me. But about characters I care about. I don't care about Andor. And I personally believe, me and no one else, after these 2 seasons of Andor are over, no one's going to care about Andor any more than they did from the beginning. They're just not. They're just not. They're just not. Because how is all this, it just works up to a nigga who's still a spy and dies getting rebel plans. A question that I don't think anyone really asked in the first place, so Rogue One was still just a movie that didn't really need to happen. But when I look at Dooku's clear change to the dark side, deleting records, meeting with Sidious, and of course, almost 6 minutes in, check the time, almost went crazy. Spoilers, these are short episodes. You could knock out all 6 episodes in like an hour. Like, these are not long. You could go watch it and come back. That is your spoiler warning. 6 minutes in is your spoiler warning. But the fact that we saw him off Yaddle, in front of Palpatine, it was amazing. And that end episode with the second to last episode with Ahsoka, practice makes perfect, a perfect way, I'm sorry, I'm tripping up on my words, a perfect way to make that last scene from season 7 where Ahsoka has to fight off all those clones with Rex hit even harder. Because she literally was practicing for this. I love how we got a subtle transition from 1 lightsaber to 2 lightsaber to when she's finally has the blue lightsabers. And you even see, if you look by those scenes side by side, you actually see that Ahsoka used some of the exact moves. She got that from training with the clones. And then for it to go into the next episode about how she was hiding, being around. She went to the fact that Ahsoka, it was blowing my mind that Ahsoka was at fucking Padme's funeral. And to just stay on the low and then defeat an Inquisitorius with just the Force, sunned that nigga. Like, she sunned that man. Sunned him. He was a little boy to her.
Little boy to me. I'll kiss you on your forehead.
A little boy. Out of practice and everything. She dropped him so fast. It just adds to the lore, and that's what I feel like should be happening. I don't feel like Andor is adding enough to the lore, but in this hour of content of animated shorts, I feel I've grown to love the original trilogy even more, and the character of Ahsoka even more, and the Clone Wars even more. I don't love Rogue One more through watching Andor. I'm 8 episodes. I'm 8 episodes into Andor, and I don't care about Andor any more than when I started. I don't care about any of these characters. I don't think of Andor any differently than I thought he was kind of a pompous douchebag spy in Rogue One, and guess what? He's less of a spy, still more of a douchebag. And if that's the type of characters y'all like, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because y'all still got House of Dragon's dick down your throat, and I don't even really fuck with that show. I'm not going to sit here and disparage it, go on a campaign. That's kind of contradictory to what I like to do, but I'll say this. I gave House of Dragons the college try. I went in 4 episodes, I tried to see what the hype was about, and I ain't fuck with that shit. And I thought that shit was kind of boring, kind of weird, and kind of lame. But at the end of the day, I'm more of a space person myself. Give me space over fantasy any day of the week. But that's beside the point.
Okay, let's move past it. I'm trying to make a point here.
This show is amazing. If you have not watched Tales of the Jedi, if you are still here after that spoiler warning 3 minutes ago, you need to go watch Tales of the Jedi. It is the best Star Wars has been in a while. I liked Mandalorian Season 2. I liked Boba Fett. I liked Kenobi, but I didn't like Bad Batch. Not too fond of Andor. And personally, this has made me happier than all those shows. I really wanted to see that Vader versus Kenobi battle, and it was amazing. Both of them were amazing in the Kenobi show, but at the end of the day, I still have more love for the Tales of the Jedi, watching Dooku and Qui-Gon, and how Dooku reacted to Qui-Gon's death, and Ahsoka training, getting real training from Anakin, showing how she got from point A of disappearing and then coming back up as a rebel. I love all of it. I've heard some people have problems with the fact that the way it was portrayed in the animated series is kind of retconning some things that happened in the book that I guess it was loosely based off of, because it was an Ahsoka novel that where she purified the Kyber crystals, beat the Inquisitor. Apparently it was a different Inquisitor altogether, but I don't think that takes away, because I saw her really sun that man, to me, in a very similar way as Darth Vader sunned Reva in Kenobi, and I loved that scene as well. So Star Wars finally gave me what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the spy and the rebels. That's never why I cared about Star Wars. I'm not gonna say I never gave a fuck about the rebels, but the rebels were clearly on the losing side until they caught themselves a fucking Jedi. Actually, a couple of Jedi, if we're including Kanan and Ahsoka and Ezra. But it's so clear that they clearly needed that to make some bigger strides. Hopefully Andor will be showing what they were doing before then. But at the end of the day, Andor is not the Star Wars content I'm excited about, because that's not what I came to Star Wars for. But Tales of the Jedi is what I came for Star Wars for. And if you are like me in that regard, you need to watch Tales of the Jedi. That's all I gotta say. I got more videos coming for you. I do plan on reacting to Ant-Man trailer. There will be a review of Black Panther next month. And I just got a lot of videos, a lot of content. And I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.